MLB season is winding down and the AL West is in such a tight race right now. You got the Seattle Mariners and you got the Houston Astros tied for first place in the AL West, and then you got the Texas Rangers one game back. Evan, the question is, who's now the favorite to win that division?
So, as someone who follows baseball a lot, and I'm curious to hear what Jake thinks about this because he follows baseball a lot as well. This is very interesting. These are three teams who could potentially win the division, all within a game each other, going into it to the last month of the season. Last time I think we've seen this, it's been a while. I think back to 2015. The Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs were all really good that year. I think they all won 95 plus games. So it's kind of like that. I see it like that, but I really think this is a two-team race. I think this is a two-team race. I respect the Rangers. I think the Rangers have, they've saw that they suck. 2021, they've won 60 games, 60 and 102. And they're like, okay, it's time to buy now. It's time. We've got all the money in the world. Why are we sucking this bad? And they decided to buy. I wish my White Sox would learn that lesson. But anyways, so the Rangers are doing well. They have a plus 174 run differential, which is third best in the league, only behind Tampa Bay and Atlanta. But what that says to me, it says that we're too inconsistent because we were leading the division all year, and now we're a game back. We're too inconsistent. We're not getting the job done, and you're facing one of the most consistent teams in the Astros, in my opinion, in the last decade that we've seen. So, okay, we'll get to the Astros in a little bit, but. So I don't think it's going to be the Rangers. I think it's a two-team race. So obviously I just praise the Astros. I think you look at their resume, of course, with the cheating, but now post-cheating too, they've still been very consistent, winning the World Series last year. But you can't forget about the Mariners, the Seattle Mariners. Jake, did you know this? 6 of the last 10 seasons? Well, it will be 6 because the Mariners are going to win. They're going to have a winning record this year. They're 75 wins right now. They would have won 6 out of the last 10 have winning seasons. Now, you think about the Mariners, you think about missing playoffs, but they've been a consistently good team. You look at their starting staff this year. They have ERA of all the WHIP, all the stats that matter. They're the best starting pitching wise. But they've got 4 starting pitchers, and of course you got Luis Castillo at the top, but 4 starting pitchers are under 4 ERA. They're shining right now. So I think when you talk about the AL West, you have to consider them. But my thing is that the Astros are the model of consistency. In 2021, you lose Carlos Correa. Okay, next man up. Justin Verlander at 40 years old. Come on in. Have a fantastic year. He does. And then this year, you got Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker, come on up. We need to, if we're not going to be the stars at pitching, we're going to get back to it by hitting. So Kyle Tucker's having a fantastic year, balanced lineup. I just think the Astros have a little more of a balanced lineup. The Mariners for sure have the star power with Luis Castillo and then Julio Rodriguez batting. But this is going to be a close one. And last thing I will add to this is also you look at the schedules. The Astros face the Royals twice. They face the Athletics. They have an easier schedule. The Mariners face the Dodgers and some other tough teams. And I think they close the year with 9 games against no, not Seattle. They close. Seattle closes the year with 9 games against Houston and Texas, respectively. So I think the Astros are the favorite because they've been the model of consistency. But what do you think, Jake?
No, none of these teams are going to win it. The A's are going to win it. No, I'm kidding. I think when you look at all 3 of these teams, I think you see that they have all 3 of these teams have dual aces. The Seattle Mariners with Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo. The Texas Rangers with Jordan Montgomery and Max Scherzer. The Houston Astros with Justin Verlander and Framer Valdez. I'm gonna go the opposite way. I see the Texas Rangers coming from behind and winning this division. Now I know they're only 1 game out, so it won't be a big come from behind, but I think the Texas Rangers will win this division. They got powerful lineup. Corey Seager is on fire this month, hitting 10 homers, I think, in the month of August. He's up to 25 on the year. I think Marcus Semien, Travis Jankowski, they still got Adolis Garcia. I think the Texas Rangers are going to come and win this division.
Yeah, and it's obviously still in play that they could win the division. I mean, they're only 1 game out. I just don't think
Hmm.
based on because they have such a high run differential. They've been so inconsistent. Their bullpen's not good. They do have a good managing by Bocce, of course, but it's just the talent in the bullpen's not there, which is why you see such a swing because the Rangers will put up runs one day, but then they'll blow it the next day. So they're for sure in it. It's going to be a tough sledding because you're facing two teams that I think I just laid out that are the model of consistency. But anyways, so it to this point, I guess you think the Rangers are going to win, but you could do it on any of the three teams. What have been the key players so far in this division so far this year?
Yeah, I think you look at the big stars on all three teams. I think with Seattle, you look at Julio Rodriguez, JP Crawford, and you look at K. Oscar Hernandez, who just came over in the offseason from the Toronto Blue Jays. Um, then with the Texas Rangers, you got Corey Seager, who I just talked about, who's on fire in the month of August. You got Marcus Semien, and you got Adonis Garcia, Travis Jankowski. Um, they just went over and got Jordan Montgomery, that left-handed pitcher from the St. Louis Cardinals, a struggling Cardinals team. But with the Rangers, you also have to remember they got Jacob deGrom and Jake Odorizzi on the shelf right now. With the Houston Astros, I think you got Jose Altuve, you got Yordan Alvarez back, you got Kyle Tucker, who you talked about, you still got Alex Bregman, and then you got Christian Javier, Framber Valdez, and Justin Verlander on that pitching side. Um, this is going to be a close race, but like I said, I'm going to take the Rangers to win it.
What's interesting is for the Astros this year is that they're technically in a down year, right? Compared to they've been having 100 win seasons.
Oh yeah,
They're probably not going to quite get to that this year. They'll get like somewhere in 90 wins probably. That lineup is still top 10 in pretty much every meaningful stat. So especially all the guys Jake laid out. For other players, I will say for Ember Valdez, you can't forget, the Astros have been doing okay pitching wise. They're not the Mariners this year. But they'll do good. They'll be fine for the playoffs. And then the Rangers, I know I said I don't think they're a factor, but I will say that's pretty impressive because last year they did win 68 games and now they're potentially competing for the division. Why is that? Well, Corey Seager, their big buy, is finally working out. Of course, Adolis Garcia, they little trade they did a few years ago that worked out. So on offense, sometimes when you buy and you get a couple good trades, it just works out. And then okay, so last thing, do you think all three of these teams are going to the playoffs, or how do you see it shaking out in the end?
that was my next question actually for you. I do see all three of these teams making it. How about you?
I think I do at this point too, and unless barring a Rangers collapse, I do because I think the next closest is Toronto 2 games out. Boston's like 5 games out. They're not gonna. It's not gonna be Boston.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be anybody else. So really, the only other question is, can Toronto sneak in? Well, Toronto's been about at the same spot they've been all year. If you've looked at their record, they're 12 over right now, but they've been about 10 over the entire season. So can they finally break away from that? They haven't been able. They've been pretty much a 500 team the last 2 to 3 months. Versus you got a surging team in the Mariners, an Astro team who's been pretty consistent, Rangers who've been inconsistent but still staying about 18, 20 games over 500. I would say it's very likely that all three will make it, barring a Rangers collapse.